So we move from one era to the next era. And this is right around the time that Don Messick, who did the voice of Scooby, Scrappy-Doo, Ranger, what is it? Ranger Smith from Yogi Bear. Yeah. Papa Smurf, Hampton J. Pig, Boo Boo, Johnny Quest, Johnny's dad, I think, or the scientist, I remember. All those characters. He did all those characters. And he smoked a lot. I mean, I think I was listening to Alan Cummings, who does the voice of Darkwing Duck. He has a Tuned In with Jim Cummings, and so he was talking to Billy West, and some people were smoking a lot, and it's that was a phase many people smoked. Henry Corden, Fred Flintstone smoked. I believe George O'Halloran, George Jetson smoked. So did Mel Blanc. I mean, Mel Blanc, Bugs Bunny. When Mel Blanc died, I felt like that was the domino that started the other dominoes. Okay, you had Gene Vanderbilt, Wilma Flintstone. So in that year, once Disney's One Saturday Morning, I thought about how I should present this before we start, because we're gonna go over the cartoons very quickly. We're not going to spend too much time on these cartoons. We will spend a little more time on one cartoon in particular that I liked after One Saturday Morning. But the 1970s, as I started this whole thing out for the 78, Scooby-Doo was always the centerpiece of ABC Saturday Morning. That was the Hanna-Barbera Ruby Spears era to me. The Super Friends, the weird 70s cartoons like Jabberjaw or Turbo Teen, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. And it was sad, after all that smoking. And Don Messick would do any voice for anybody in the last few years of the 90s, or the first, actually, most of the 90s, he would do any character except Scooby because his voice hurt so much from smoking. But he got that voice really good, but I think part of it was the smoking. He would just do it a certain way. And also mumbly, I think he did mumbly. And I remember, speaking of Billy West, when Scoob came out during the pandemic, Billy West did the voice, but they used Don Messick's wheezy laugh that Mumbly would have whenever he was laughing at Dread Baron or Dastardly. Yeah, that was certainly a different time, man. That was really a different time. So, rest in peace to continue resting in peace, Don. I miss your. I mean, I always thought Frank Welker could do the voice of Scooby, and he has done it, and he's done it okay. I mean, he sounds the way he's supposed to sound, but there was always something missing. As Stewie Griffin would say, now we have wrong-sounding Muppets, So it is a sad time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over these cartoons very quickly. Very quickly, okay? So let's start with these first. We're going to go into One Saturday Morning overview, then the last cartoon, then Schoolhouse Rock, and then some commercials. All right? Let's do it that way.
Cool, man. He hasn't changed a bit. Well, almost. And he's asked all of his friends to join him.
Whatever you say, Doug.
Where else could you have this much fun?
It'll be great.
Brent, fancy new Doug. It's the place you want to be. Premiering tomorrow on ABC Saturday Morning.
I think Doug will forever live on as a meme, as Dougalith. Come on, Dougalith. Sit down by your psychologist, Dougalith. The Vinny Vinesauce meme. But now, I forgot to give a proper introduction to all this because we talked about Don Messick passing in '97 from lung cancer and all that. As we moved from Scooby Doo to Disney, now ABC I guess owned Disney officially in '96, '97. I mean officially they got like a grip. Okay, they got that grip and just decided let's Disneyfy everything. Just like when they got Star Wars. Here comes Star Wars Episode 789. So this was the brand new era of Disney cartoons or Saturday morning cartoons in the form of Disney, as opposed to Hanna-Barbera and Ruby Spears, because like the first signs were like the gummy bears, right? And then you had Darkwing Duck, you had uh, uh, Rod Tunage, and then Marsupilami. I think that was CBS though. CBS did have some as well. Gargoyles, and once the Gargoyles era passed, then we got to this era of Doug. Now, Doug to me was there was I barely even learned until a couple of years ago, that there was an MTV Doug, and so that Doug was better. But when Disney bought out the company that was running Doug on MTV, then that became a shit Doug. Disney's Doug. I don't know. I have to look at more of that cartoon. But there's Doug. There's his friend. What's his friend? Ralph. I don't remember his friend's name. And there's Pork Chop. I remember Pork Chop. And I forgot the girl that he liked, the blonde, short hair girl that like, hey, Doug, it's me, Doug. Like, I don't know, it's the girl he likes all the time. He's like the 90s Charlie Brown, isn't he? He's like Charlie Brown. Like, he does dumb things and he's insecure. He's very much in every single sense Charlie Brown, except he's like 10 years older than Charlie Brown. 10 years older than Chuck. And, yeah, I don't know. It was like, it wasn't much of a cartoon. It was just like kids getting into trouble. I think wasn't there a live action called Even Stevens, and then there was Zack and Cody at the hotel. That came out later. That was ABC Kids era. I just kind of focus on the cartoons that I remember, but I do remember some of this stuff. It was okay. Douglas. Um, Everybody was a different color because there's no such thing as race. I mean, Doug is Caucasian, I guess, but everybody's blue or pink or purple. I mean, there's no such thing as race swapping, is there? I mean, because everybody's one color of something. The Proud Family, that one came out, I think, a year or two later after this. And oh God, the propaganda they did. The propaganda they did last year. How nice of them. All right, let's move on to the next cartoon. Yeah. So this, as somebody who is older than me, but luckily I'm old enough to be able to say this, okay, at 45. This is Hogan's Heroes. Hogan's Heroes and the Burger King Kids Club if they had a child. Okay. I bet somebody pitched that, It's like, just take the Burger King Kids Club, right? We wouldn't dare use their likeness, We don't want to owe Burger King anything, right? Says the Disney lawyers. And then we'll take Hogan's Heroes, and then that's our cartoon. Disney's Recess. Oh my gosh. So yeah, they look like the Burger King kids, don't they? They're up to something. They're always up to something. They got the that ugly grandma with the moo right? Is she the assistant principal? And then you got the guy with the glasses, the Groucho Marx face, right? Ah, yeah, yes, okay. He's the principal. Ah, yes, okay. And then the kid here is like, what's he like? The main character from Hogan himself, right? Hogan would get in trouble with Colonel Klink and stuff like that. Hogan, that's what I think of. I think of that cartoon. I think of that. It's like, it's like Chicken Run and Hogan's Heroes and The Great Escape and Burger King Kids, and that's essentially what this is. They had a movie that came out, oh god, what is it? The early 2010s or late 2000s, something like that. Somewhere in there. I think that movie came out before Smallville was over. I think. Yeah, so Eh, I don't know. It's whatever it is. I don't really give a shit. They're all up to no good, right? They're all what is it? They're probably what? I mean, what are they? Computer programmers? Maybe they sneak out of work when their boss is looking for them. I don't know. They're all hiding in their cubicles during. What else could they be doing during recess at their company idiotic job? Whatever it is they're doing, their white collar work. Yeah, this is the second or the third one. I don't know. It's eh, whatever. It's that kind of thing. Let's get to the last one. Pepper and pepper and pepper and pepper and pepper. I mean, I don't know. You don't have to know the words. Just sing pepper and pepper and pepper and. Looks like the Fido. Looks like the artist who did Fido Dido. Remember that from CBS? Dun, da, 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 dun, dun. Yeah, it looks like the same artist, I think, right? I know the one who did Geeker did Earthworm Jim and did a lot of other those claymation point and click adventures. So maybe it's the same guy who did Fido Dido who did this one. The only reason I care about this cartoon at all is because the voice actress who does Pepper Ann, she was Kathy. Now, before there was The Simpsons, before South Park, before Family Guy, before Rick and Morty, before any of that stuff, we had two cartoons that I used to watch, okay? Three, maybe. One of them was Garfield, right? And I mean, like Lorenzo, there are two voice actors who do the voice of Garfield very well. Lorenzo Music and James Aranda of PS Vita at 2 a.m. Nobody else can do it, right? And then there was the Charlie Brown specials. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's Christmas time, Charlie Brown. Uh, it's Thanksgiving, Charlie Brown. It's you're the Lord of the Flies, Charlie Brown. Something like that, right? And then there was the Kathy. The third one being Kathy. There was like three Kathy specials, and you would have Kathy Gustwhite, who was the author. I forget who the voice actor she is, and then was a Rob Paulson was like Irving. So that's all I care about as far as Pepper Ann goes. I mean, it's the shy, timid, immature, low self esteem girl with her friends. They walk through school. I mean, it's the same thing with Doug, right? Recess. These are all like high school dramas, right? But they're cartoons, and this is kind of the extent of things. Okay, this was the main block, and there were other Disney IPs to be had. We'll go over those later. So even the return of Mickey Mouse, that wouldn't happen for a couple more years. But yeah, I got it was a fun time to look at these things, but I had no personal connection, but I don't mind watching these, but it was like the personal connection was that Scooby Doo. But this is harder for me because by this time I was almost 20 years old, so I could have cared less. But it is a, it is a big staple in Saturday morning cartoons because it went kind of downhill from there. We'll get into that in a little bit, but let's get into two more things. Now they show continue despite that it's Disney, they still showed the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show up until the year 2000. But that's not what I wanted to show you.
Sure. Does Doug Savage have a trick up his sleeve? Or does this water cycle thing have them all washed up?
Hey. Shh. Mr. Plumber.
Yeah.
Please state your name and occupation.
Plumber in that order. Don't you call me Paul?
No.
All right.
Paul, if there was a hole in a pipe and clear water was in that pipe, what color would the water be that leaked out of that pipe?
Clear?
Your witness, Ms. Grimple.
No questions.
That was amazing, Mr. Savage.
If it pleases the court, I'd like to present a little demonstration.
Yeah.
Of the evaporation condensation system supposedly happening at the subway station. Will Maria Hernandez please retake the stand? Now, at this end, we have a beaker of water on top of a burner.
Water, so they move faster. As they move faster, the water particles move further apart. That's the steam.
So now we can follow the steam up this tube here and over onto
The pipe appears to be dripping water into the cup.
And what color is the dripping water?
Clear.
I'm sorry, Miss Crumple. What you just said wasn't very clear. Could you say that a little more clearly.
I tell you, there's very few shows. I mean, Beekman's World was okay, but I think this one was even better than that. Because this is Squiggle Vision. For those who might remember home movies and other things, this is Squiggle Vision. You would hear John H. Benjamin, Bob's Burgers, like that guy. Uh, there were only like maybe a couple, 2 or maybe 3 seasons of this, and it's educational and informative. I guess you would say because it's teaching you about science. But I thought it was interesting because it's like here you got Mr. Savage doesn't know anything, right? He's trying to prove that the water that's leaking is not the same water, but he's misinterpreting the experiment because water condensed. So if you put red water into the pipe and then you're burning it, when it comes out, of course, the red water evaporates and then the blue water comes out. But it's not exactly. They're trying to prove something else, and it's using the wrong experiment to prove something else. So I like where science comes in. I'm sure it must be based on a real court case where science had to be proven, but this is where these two people. There's the defense and the prosecution, and right, it's just if there was ever, I mean, night courts come and gone, but this was always fun to watch. Just the sleazy prosecutor and the defense, and then you have the judge. It's just funny. Judge Stone. It's like Harry Stone, but it's like there's just they got the funny bailiff, Fred. Okay, yeah. There's just for so many different characters, and they're little kid geniuses, and they all try to prove something with the experiments. Like, did this person damage the dress, or were these flowers dead? Well, the flowers died because you put them in this cold storage or hot storage, or how wood reacts to the air, or how radiation works, or like different things like that. How the Earth revolves around the sun and things like that. Celestial bodies. So you learn about science through the science court, and they try to prove something, and how one person's innocent, one person's guilty. That's pretty much what it is. All right, let's go to Schoolhouse Rock.
There's something huge, red, white, and blue that's grazing in D.C. By you and me.
Oh.
It doesn't seem to notice. We really
We're hitting a sore spot here, aren't we? This is how it is these days. Where's your money going? Where's our money going? Yep. Tyrannosaurus debt. How do we stop with the debt ceiling? You think Vice President Harris is like wasting our money on like getting new hairdos? Maybe getting new dresses. So much debt with the Ukraine. How about fixing Hawaii, please? Hawaii, fix it. Do you remember that? Do you remember they wanted to do $1 trillion coin? Do you remember that? Yep. Now they're just gonna punish us. Raise the gas to $10 a gallon. Treasury, the whole building's for sale. This is the same guy who did 12 Toes. Oh my god. Reviving dinosaurs would kill us. Yep, fun trip that was. All right, let's look at a few commercials. I love that Squiggle Vision. Now they would have this Disney like flag except for Bugs Bunny. They wouldn't do that. Oh god. Oh, I thought it was Super Mario Brothers. It is the Men in Black. We'll cover the cartoon later. Yep, on VHS. Game.com. Never bought this. Never cared about it. And we had the R Zone, right? The Virtual Boy R Zone, and oh my god, it's a piece of shit. Anyway, Sonic was on this and the N-Gage. Oh shit! Watch out for epilepsy warning. Yeah.
But if you keep smoking it, you might just get dumber.
And dumber. And dumber, but we legalized it. We legalized it. Sorry.
Join Mowgli, Baloo,
Ah, yes.
King Louie for an adventure like no other.
This is the original Jungle Book live action with Lena Headey. One of the few live action movies that was very good. They made 2 more.
Welcome back to Disney's One Saturday Morning.
Let's see if we can find one more commercial. There's Jen Bettis.
We'll be right back to Disney's One Saturday Morning.
Anastasia.
Story of an orphan girl who's really a princess. Now you can bring her magic home. It's Anastasia, the princess, just like in the movie.
It's got that Barbie doll look.
Beautiful in her gorgeous gown and pretty long hair. With her music tape and magical dance stand, you can make her twirl around. Look, it's Dimitri. May I have his dance? Relive the magic, the adventure, only with Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Anastasia with dance stand and cassette. Dimitri both have a new tape player now.
All right. Galoob.
Look, Santo!
Is that Capri Sun?
School's out.
Tell me it's Capri Sun. The fuck? Capri Sun.
It's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone.
Chef. Oh, that's the stupid kid who eats Chef Boyardee.
Beefy.
Oh, the beefy kid. I remember that piece of garbage.
I'm Professor Chris Williams. England and America, we both speak English. In America, you fill your truck up with gas and drive to your apartment. In England, you fill your lorry with petrol and drive to your flat.
What?
Flat, truck, lorry, gas, petrol. What's up with that?
Okay. Nick World.
Hi, Joey.
All the animals. Hey, Bob.
Looking sharp today, Joey.
Hey, Dave.
Yo, dude.
Hi, guys.
Let's Conquer.
He looks good.
They could help with my homework.
Okay, here's what I did on my migration.
I'd ask Mary
What?
Kate's cat if she likes me.
That looks like the cat that visits me at my
Of
house.
course, there would be some drawbacks.
That's why I remember this one guy that would eat his cheeseburger in front of all his cats and dogs, and they just steal his food. Like, fuck that.
Control the clueless answering phone.
What is this?
Totally. Describe. What's in girls and phones anyway? This Friday?
Aha!
I'm totally bugging. What language is she speaking?
This is way before, long before.
Frat boy. An eavesdropper detector. Safe to talk. Is that even legal?
This is something, right? Real working telephone.
Her clueless hands-free phone rules.
Girls? Any girls? Do you have this? Any of you have this? I want to see a review on this on YouTube. Somebody has this. Like, if you didn't sell it or get it damaged, I want to see you review that. See if it still works. Show me that it still works. Oh my God, they're trying to do Star Wars before they own it. This is the holidays. Oh yes, let's be nice to the kids.
Stories of real miracles. Join your favorite stars for a night of Christmas miracles. All new ABC next Saturday.
All right, let's wrap this up. One Saturday morning. So I hope you had as much fun watching this as I did putting it together. Disney's One Saturday Morning lasted a few years, and then we got into ABC Kids, and then the Litton's Weekend Adventure, which is, I think, still airing. There's not much in the way of anything these days. And we're going to go all the way to the year 2000. We're definitely going to look at Pokemon and the DC animated universe, and maybe Men in Black. I think we're just going to focus on Kids WB to make it simple. That was most of my watching, was on Kids WB. Very, very, very little Fox. Things were changing. By the 2000s, things were very different. All the loose, weird shit that you saw, Life with Louie, Scooby-Doo, Captain N, that's gone. So now we have something else in its place. So let's find out what replaced that next week.